Page. Today is Friday, 25th October 2024. Thank goodness it is Friday and the week has come to an end. For some of us, that is good news. And if you are like me and you have to work over the weekend, apologies. Welcome to the program this morning. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you've started your day very productively to make something out of it. My name is Mavis Atudume, and I'm not alone in the studio this morning. I've got with me Dr. Chudi Emelu. He's a friend of Volt FM, and he's here with me this morning to do a newspaper analysis and to also consider the reshuffling of the cabinet, which the presidency announced to the public just yesterday. And all of the ruckus that has been caused by that appointment is something that we will have to let someone who has some ideas share them with us this morning. He's a public affairs analyst, Dr. Trudy Emelu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning.
Okay, welcome. Don't forget to join this program live on YouTube at High Voltage News, and you can follow us on Facebook at Volt 1043 FM. And when we open up the phone lines, you know what to do. Drop your comments, your contributions, and analysis on our phone lines, okay? We will call them out when we are ready to open up the phone lines. But for now, let's rush into the top stories and look at the newspaper headlines, and then we can continue the conversation from there. On the Vanguard News this morning, Vice President Shetima's plane damaged in New York, forcing cancellation of Samoa trip. If you know about the trip, there's a conference in Samoa. The vice president is supposed to represent the country, but an object hit his plane while on air. So it's been cancelled. That's the trip to Samoa, unfortunately. And of course, looking at another aircraft disaster, all 8 passengers in Bonny chopper disaster feared dead, says the Nigerian police. Okay, reps and CBN disagree over the validity of old Naira notes. You're going to get more details of that story much later. That's it on the Vanguard. That's the much we can take because we are trying to hurry for time. And on the Daily Post this morning, we have, okay, let's see what is good. Cabinet reshuffle, ministers discharged, not sacked, said presidency. So you know how to use your words. They were not sacked. They were discharged. Okay. And also, let's see if we can try to see if we can get some real good stories here. Anambra State criminals dare Soludo take crime to governor's doorstep. Anambra State has been in the news for a lot of things in the past couple of days, but we will try to look into that with all the insecurity and all the relationship with the federal government, but we will come to that real soon. Okay, let's see what more we can get. CNG, why there's long queue at Abuja Conversion Center, says Nigerian government. All right, let's see. No deadline on circulation of the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira notes. And just in case you've read the first headline as regards this story, which says that there's been a deadline for the use of the old 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1000 naira notes, it turns out that the federal government is saying that there is no deadline, so continue to use your money because stories like this could cause some confusion with the public. And that first story says the deadline was for 31st of December. The federal government is saying this morning that there is no deadline. So that's it on that one. Okay, let's take one more and then we run off. Okay, Mbachume land dispute. Adejo denies using Benue State government to harass villagers. And that's the much we can take on the Daily Post this morning. Let's quickly look at Punch, the Daily Punch. Let's grab a few here, and then we will move over to our investigated stories. Cabinet reshuffle, presidency defends Tinubu as federal government slashes ministers' vehicles and aids. I will read you that story in details soon. Okay, Senate okays 15% states funding for regional development commissions. All right, broken aircraft windscreen aboard Shetima Samoa trip. Just in case you're trying to get more details on any of the stories, please hook us up on High Voltage News on YouTube, or you can go to any of these newspaper online channels and grab more details of these stories. Now, let me take you to our investigated stories where, there are a lot more details to some of the things that you've heard this morning. Right, you heard that the presidency has placed a certain restrictions to ministers and some agency heads in the country. So let's tell you that story in detail. President Tinubu has placed a limitation on ministers of state, and heads of federal government agencies, allowing them a maximum of 3 vehicles in their official convoys. President Tinubu has directed that all ministers, state ministers, and agency heads may only have a maximum of 5 security personnel assigned to them. The security detail will consist of 4 police officers along with 1 officer from the Department of the State Services, that is the DSS. The president also issued a statement today regarding the announcement of the cost of reduction initiative with the people that you have heard their names mentioned before. And that's it about that story and the details to it. You can drop your comments and contributions on any of the headlines before I will face Dr. Emelu and begin to ask him some questions about what's going on. Bayelsa State government budgets 5.4 billion naira for anniversaries, celebrations, 1.5 billion for rehabilitation of hospitals and health centers. The doc gives me a look, but it's okay. We'll get there. Also on the news this morning is the First Lady of the country, Oluremi Tinubu, as she distributes 1,225 kg bags of rice to rural women and vulnerable and less privileged individuals in Anambra State to cushion the effects of economic hardship. Right. That's it. That's it on that news. And also, lastly, on our investigated stories this morning, the reps reject Sharia law bill. Members of the House of Representatives have rejected a bill seeking to expand the application of Sharia law beyond personal matters in the Constitution. And on that note, welcome to High Voltage. Doc, what do you think about all of these stories?
Well, if we start with the cabinet, which is the
Please.
hot potato topic now, if we start with the cabinet reshuffle, it was expected, but I think the president was practically dragged into doing it. I don't think he was in a hurry to do it.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't in a hurry. I mean, but he has done it, and It's always good to try to rejig your cabinet, but. The names are a bit, apart from one or two, they're a bit underwhelming, if you ask me. We didn't see people in the mode of the Okonjo Iwealas, the Akinwumi Adeshinas. I mean, which is quite instructive for someone like Tinubu that has been touted as a good recruiter of talent.
Strategic.
After all the noise, his initial cabinet was rather underwhelming. Well, the politicians will say he has to settle some political IOUs. Let's take it that he has done that, and this rejigging of his cabinet is a step in getting more technocrats to figure us out of the situation. Apart from one or two names, I don't think there's anything now. It's just your turn is out. Give chance for another person to come in.
Okay. Wow, wow. Okay. Okay, having said that, there's a particular name that's, the most sensational of all.
Yeah.
And of course, you know who. And it's not because it's her. I think it's because of the state that she also represents. Now, the Southeast has felt a little bit sidelined by this particular administration, at least from my observation. But the crux of the issue is that Odinaka Bianca Ojukwu, it has been called all kinds of wonderful names in the country, but most people are disagreeing with her appointment and saying that it's in a bid to woo the Anambra people because of sentiments.
Well, you can read any meaning to. There's nothing wrong in trying to woo people, but at an earlier edition of this program, I had predicted that Governor Soludo, I think when we talked about the Anambra election,
Elections. That's right.
I predicted that Governor Soludo would be in a kind of arrangement with APC.
Oh my goodness.
And Bianca is of ABGA,
Hmm.
just like Governor Soludo. So this appointment seems to validate my hypothesis or theory, if you call it, because Bianca is a board of trustee member of ABGA.
Hmm.
So is she still maintaining her party affiliation as an ABGA minister in the upcoming cabinet, or will she eventually move over to APC? I think with time these things will become clearer, but I think there will be a kind of arrangement between Governor Soludo and his ABGA affiliates with the current government, and it's been manifest with disappointment. That's my own opinion.
Yes, assumingly, what is your prediction? Because we've seen this announcement, and just this morning, the wife of the president, the first lady, has gone to Anambra to give them rice to help ease off the economic stress in the country, and we've not seen this with most other states in the country. So why is this happening in secessions? Can we read anything to it?
It has to start from somewhere, but if I must reinforce it, Bianca is obviously more than qualified. Even if you juxtapose her with some of the appointments, she's more than qualified for.
Oh, she is qualified
for the position. So no, that's a no-brainer. She's qualified for a position. But coming to the Anambra and the politics or the political, I don't think it will change much.
You think?
I don't think it will change much.
Even with this allegiance, because now she's going to serve this administration, which is APC.
Yeah, there will be, not everybody will agree with her accepting the appointment, because she's not just Bianca, she's the wife of Dimo Jumebu.
That is the point.
And it holds a lot of symbolism for Igbos, and I'm sure she knows that.
Okay.
And her party, excuse me,
Sorry.
her party are going to an kind of alignment with the current government. I'm not sure everybody will agree with that, but she's eminently qualified for her.
But can she make any really valuable changes with that difference in party association?
She'll add a bit of glamour, gliss, and intelligence, interest, but in terms of swaying the typical Anambra, I don't think much ground will be gained. It's just the symbolism of it. That's my own view on this. The symbolism of it.
All right. You can join the conversation. We are opening up the phone lines in case you have something to say, join, add, or ask. You can call the numbers that I'm about to give you, 0706 048 5853. You can also call 0915 570 8347. All right? You can send a text message or WhatsApp message to those numbers as well. And you can join the conversation live on YouTube as well. That is High Voltage News on YouTube. And you'll be able to see us and as well join the conversation right from where you are. Prof, okay, now that you mentioned all of this, I wanted to, bring in the political bias, because I think that the fact that the APC are the ones running things, and just like you mentioned, she is the wife of, the great Ojukwu that the Igbos have a lot of, respect for, and all that he represents. Don't you think that the people who think it might be a sabotage on her path, do you think they have a right to say that?
Well, some people will feel betrayed. But she has a right to. She has a lot to contribute to any government.
Really,
it's within her prerogative to accept or decline any appointments she's given. But if you put it with the evolving politics of Anambra, I won't be surprised if even the current governor, is in the know and is in support and is part of the issue is now, are they going to metamorphose? Is the ABGA, Anambra, Soludo going to should I say, I won't say faction, but wing of the APGA are then going to move over to the APC on or before 2027. I mean, I think time will tell.
All right. Who knows how impossible that is? We have seen some very strange miracles happen here as well. So let's hope that. Okay. So did you see what the Bielsa budget that I, told you about? The 5.4 billion that is budgeted for anniversaries and celebration, and then Bielsa government budgets 1.5 billion for rehabilitation of hospitals and healthcare centers in the state. What do you think about this behavior?
Well, is what we see with our politics. It's one thing to announce humongous figures. It's another thing to make sure the actual figures are really good, used for what they are supposed to. But I don't. I think the figure is a bit wasteful. If you ask me, not for the health sector, but for celebrating, what are they really celebrating?
Celebrations and
How
anniversaries.
many years after creation, if you go to Bios, it's still a glorified semi-rural state.
Glorified.
There's nothing much to crow about. I mean, our politicians should be serious and face real development, face people's education, face the health sector, face food production. Even infrastructure, they should tailor it on the immediate needs, not all those ego trips.
I'm coming. Good morning.
Am I on to vote radio?
Yes, this is Volt 104.3. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Pastor Chimbo on the line.
You're welcome.
I want to join your conversation.
Please go ahead, sir.
I don't agree with that. In as much ministries and the cabinet, but I think the leaving the issue and pursuing the shadow. We have been shouting, crying about Nigerian economy, and Nigerian economy is festered on petroleum. I continue to ask, what is holding these men? Buhari came, promised to revive the refinery. And 8 years, nothing was done. It's an error. And this moment again, Tinubu has gone in. It is his turn. And he submerged the election. And now we are still crying. He has stayed up to 1 year and more. Telling him, go to refine our refineries. One-on-one. Check out the problem. You are the petroleum minister. All the men that knew what to do about it and know what to do. Immediately, our refineries are working. If I am telling you, Nigeria will change overnight. It will be very clear. But why are they shifting from the issue? They are appointing and reappointing, cutting their expenses. This is not the issue. Immediately, our refineries okay. Petroleum crude oil is brought out from the ground and they refined in Nigeria and then sold in Nigeria and some are shifted out. I'm telling you honestly, situation will take normal course. Please tell him, changing paper, appointing Ojuku's wife and they cutting their expenses is not the issue. The issue is our refineries should be put in order. God bless you.
God bless you, Pastor Chimbo, for sharing that very passionate contribution with us this morning. Remember to keep your comments clean, simple, and civil. Doctor, you want to say something, but let's talk to this person before you go. Good morning. Are you there? Hello? All right, I think something's going on with your line. Okay, do well to call us back then. All right, Doc, please go ahead and you wanted to comment on what Pastor Chimbo has said.
Well, he seems to believe that just revamping our refinery is the silver bullet that will. I don't think so.
What will?
I don't think so. Yeah, it will help, but how old are some of those refineries? The two you have in Port Harcourt, the old and new Port Harcourt refinery. One of them is supposed to come on stream. They keep on shifting the the date for opening has kept on being moved from one day from 1 month to the other. That I think even the NNPC group MD is now finding it embarrassing to even speak on
Continue.
that. So that tells you that there's an underlying fundamental problem. Many of those refineries have been overtaken by technology. They were built in the 70s and 80s and whatever. So I think lots of things people are not really aware. It's good refiners, but it's not going to be the silver bullet. He didn't say he kind of downplayed the significance of cutting down the cost of governance by reducing convoys. Those things you should take a look at recurrent expenditure of government. Then he'll have another view.
You will continue to talk about that in a minute. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. You're welcome, Mr. Okay, I think.
Yes. And my special greetings to your analyst. Okay, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My brother, you have said it all. You see, the last caller did not know that our major problem is not refinery, like you rightly said. No, it's not now. And like you've told him now, those things are so much outdated. It's like looking for those old vehicles who are not bonko. It's a they are repaired, yeah. But no, it doesn't work now. I'm an accountant. Our problem in this country, number one problem, which has 8 times that number, is floating our currency. When you float your currency and you allow your currency to be determined by the sources of demand and supply, and you don't produce something in the country, you will be on your own. Look, it's a terrible thing. And like I told you, sometime just December, a bag of beans was being sold at 63,000. Today, the same bag of beans is being sold at 240,000 naira. People think that it is because of the transportation. It's not true. Go to this, what do you call it, Niger State. You buy a bag of beans, they're 220,000. So how can it be the transportation that is causing it? And that's the place they are producing it. So our problem is floating the naira and the insecurity, which makes it very difficult for people to go to the farm. On the issue of the cabinet reshuffle, that is not our problem. And unfortunately, they have not even injected people that will want to move into that place. I've not seen any special person. Bianca Ojuku's appointment, that's where I will differ a little bit with our order. Her appointment, depending on, to me, she doesn't even have that clout of swearing people's vote. So that's my own understanding. If she goes in there, I think the only thing is that if it were, where I even have confusion is that they say she's representing Igbo. I don't know whether I heard about that.
Yes, it is true. It is the sensation.
Is she not Igbo?
It is the sensation that
is she not Igbo?
Where that Igbo came into, Bianca is from Enugu State, married to Anambra. So how they are shifting her to Igbo, I don't know.
Okay, I thought you meant Igbo.
Her appointment is all right, like Oga said, she is more than qualified. And she's not even a full minister. She's a minister of state. So she's just like even an assistant. So it's not even a big deal. And when you are made
but it has been counted as one of the advantages of the Igbos in this government. So you must understand that.
No, what I'm saying is that if they make you minister of state for a particular ministry, you are like a vice or deputy. No, yes, now because she's not a full minister. You can call her a junior minister, so to say. So she will only act when the main minister is not there. So to me, I think the analyst has said it all. Thank you very much. Let others contribute.
All right, sir. Thank you for calling the show. Try to have a good day ahead of you. 0706 5853. You can also call 0915 570 If you cannot reach us on the phone lines, please send us a text message or WhatsApp message. We will be able to get it and we will read it out. And just in case you are on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share what we're doing, and you'll be doing us a lot of favor. Also, remember to comment, okay? Remember to comment. So let's go back to the cutting of cost of governance. Do you think that these agency heads and these ministers are going to be okay with the president's, slimming down their budgets, basically?
It won't really slim down. It's symbolic. It's symbolic. I mean, you only need to look at the convoy of the gun-ho FCT minister. Just look at his convoy. Look, count the SUVs. You see there. Then calculate how much it costs to fill a tank of petrol. I can guarantee you, if the funds for fueling come from his own private pocket, as he has some week, even with all the money, I'm sure something will be done on the convoy. After all, the British Prime Minister, just two vehicles, the Range Rover and the police vehicles. I don't understand all this madness about convoys. Some even move with what do you call it, ambulance that they never use.
Yeah, but why do you think why do you think we're like that?
It's just kind of a copycat syndrome. They are mimicking the convoy, during that oil boom, giant of Africa. So you see the convoy of the American president, and if you Google it, you see it has an ambulance with his blood. So everybody tries to put himself in the mold of that big man. That is it today. If you show signs of recovery, I mean, instead of 1,700 naira to $1, we should start hearing that it's now 15412. That tells us the naira is getting. That's how we understand that naira is getting stronger. So all these theories that they call Bretton Woods Organization, World Bank, and co, don't mean anything to them.
And of course, the IMF seems very interested in us very recently. They have been very involved in what we're doing. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, because the current government is towing gun, stock, and barrel, almost everything, to their policies. So they are in cahoots currently with the current government. They are happy with the current government or whatever. But I'm still looking for that example, that one country that followed IMF recommendations and came out of it. I'm just scratching my head and trying to remember one. I can't.
I know that some African countries are asking them to, hands off their business, and we are encouraging them to be in our business. So I wanted to know if there's any. Are we benefiting a lot from it, minus the borrowing, which I know that we do a lot. We're borrowing a lot.
As an ordinary citizen, I don't see what we're benefiting for now.
Now.
Maybe in the future, but for now, we're not benefiting anything from all this.
All right, let's see if we can get to you. Yes, good morning.
This is Charles Akoba.
All right, welcome back, Charles.
I was saying that the foreign affairs ministry is very important. It's not something you toy around with, because you're like the face of the government, and it's for experienced people. Like if you go to the United States, people that handle that Secretary of State, people like Hillary Clinton, Rex Tillerson, Mike Pompeo, Colin Powell, who was an American general after the Gulf War. So it's not something you just bring somebody like Jan can put there. During the military, people that handle foreign affairs ministry, people like General Ike, people like Bulaji Akinyeji, who was an experienced diplomat. So if you bring Bianca and put her there, it's not. Konyema was there for the last dream Buhari. He was doing practically nothing. So we should look for people who are experienced, who can man that position. So we don't end up playing politics with everything.
She's been ambassador to Spain and ambassador to Ghana. She's been a Nigerian ambassador to Spain, Nigerian ambassador to Ghana. You think that doesn't count for experience?
Forget about being ambassador. Anybody can be an ambassador.
Okay, when he came before Ike Nwachukwu became external affairs minister, what was he before? I've given you an example.
Huh? Wait, Ike was the governor of Olimo State.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes.
He was adjutant general, and he's a very sound but he was well in the military.
Have you looked?
Even though he was a nobody, he was somebody then. One of the most influential generals in Nigeria.
But did you forget that Ojukwu's father was once a governor? Did
Let's
you
not
forget
even.
that?
Let's just. Have you bothered to look at Bianca's credentials, her educational qualifications?
He's a lawyer. I know that.
Yes, and also masters. She also has a master's in the related field. 2 times an ambassador, and you still think she doesn't merit being a foreign affairs. Mind is Minister of State. We still have Professor Yusuf Tuga as a substantive foreign affairs minister. She's been
comparing her with. See, Russia has last problem. Eh? Go and look at the president. I'm saying to the American government, Hillary Clinton was American secretary of state. But the Christ was currently Michael Blinken. Go and look at the profile of people that handle the ministry. Not just anybody. Look at how they talk, how they carry themselves.
Wow.
Bianca is not anybody.
She can't. Are you saying that she does not articulate those things that you just said now?
She's not anybody. She's exposed internationally.
During the time Nigeria was during IBB and the Abacha, when we were a strong force, when ECOMOG was there, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
They needed someone that would influence and place the on the right register. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Even in Anambra, people don't believe in Biafra. Even in Abga, people don't believe in Biafra. You need the scandal here with the nurse wife. When she even slapped their nurse wife in the public gathering. She's not the kind of person you need to go under a foreign affairs. I don't want that. You should get what I'm trying to say. The last major foreign affairs minister about to change, it was the second change was foreign affairs minister. Some Kimiko, I think he handled that ministry too. These are people that have the crowds to handle it. What I'm trying to say though, let us not politicize everything. That's a very sensitive position. Good morning, thank you for having me.
Good morning, Charles. Yeah, Charles has raised some
angles
to this conversation.
Completely.
Please
totally.
carry on.
I don't think he really appreciates what he has in the personality of Bianca. Even some of the examples he gives, the profile of Bianca is well above some of them. He gave the example of Tommy Kim. Yes, he was a well-known architect and whatever, but what was he in the international field? We're talking of a former Miss Intercontinental, former Miss Nigeria, then former senior special assistant on diaspora affairs under Goodluck Jonathan, later became an ambassador to Ghana, later became ambassador to Spain, 2 times an ambassador, before now being made a minister of state, well educated, from a prominent family. What else do you need for a foreign affairs minister for crying out?
Well, he mentioned, the altercation with
I'm saying, anybody can lose as a person. Anybody can lose their temper. If you even Bill Clinton, there was a video I watched the other time on his visit when he visited Ghana. The crowd was surging dangerously too close to him. He lost his cool and was practically.
Good morning.
Everybody has a right to get angry.
Good morning.
Allow the talk to finish.
Okay, I was trying to make sure that you were still there. Apologies. Okay. All right. All right, sir.
Doc, thank you very much. You are more than versatile. You see, when somebody is biased, How can the last caller talk about that Bianca is not what is he talking about? Bianca is, to me, she's even overqualified. Before, who are there compared with Bianca?
But I think everybody is forgetting the sentiment. The sentiment. Yes, sir. I'm with you.
Public. We know Mrs. Obiano, how he has been terrorizing other people now. So Bianca, that video, maybe this young man did not even watch that video. Everybody knows that Mrs. Obiano was in the habit of beating every person, slapping every person, even that lady, that a police officer that follows her. So Bianca thought that she was coming to slap her again, because you could remember that woman, Mrs. Obiano, moved from where she was sitting, telling Bianca. So Bianca was afraid. And before she knew it, she had to slap her before and remove that scarf. So Bianca is not to be blamed in any form. Or humiliate others. Bianca has no problem. Now back to the issue of why IMF keep giving Nigeria money. You see the difference, I'm an accountant. The difference between the loan from IMF and that of World Bank is that they will give you money and ask you to use it to anything, and they will ask you to use it for frivolity. Like I see you use it for, what do you call it, palliative, as an transfer kego. If it were China, they won't do it. They must fight a particular project, serious project, and infrastructure for that matter, that will be able to repay that loan. So in the buy, our government will always rush there, where you can pick money and use it anyhow, and come back, and World Bank will be very happy. I was surprised when IMF said that our naira is picking up. How are we talking about? This money parallel market is 1,731 naira.
Ooh.
What are they talking about that it is picking up? So please continue, Prof.
Thank you, Mr. OK, for calling the show. You have a way of bringing life to the entire thing. Thank you for calling. You can also drop your views with us this morning. I don't know how you feel about all of these things that we're talking about, but we would like to hear your views as well. So call the phone lines, send us a text message or a WhatsApp message, and, you'll be able to share your views with us this morning. It's still in Anambra State. Governor Soludo has not included 265 secondary schools in funding from his government. And this is robbing the people very badly because, of course, this is coming from the Sahara reporters, and the comments are outrageous. Someone says here, Soludo is creating more illiterates so he can have an excuse on why Anambra State can be like Dubai, Taiwan. Doc, what do you think about this?
I think if I digress a bit, some of these are intellectuals or highly intelligent people. They get this, what I don't know whether to call it intellectual arrogance or whatever, so it's difficult for them to take it. I mean, just check the number of professors that have held political appointments. You don't see that professorial thing in their appointment, and you keep wondering,
Why is that?
why is this highly intelligent man, why do they make these elementary mistakes?
Okay.
Whatever. You see it in all sorts of professions, even in the, for instance, in the medical field. You see maybe a consultant neurosurgeon, excellent, highly, very cerebral and whatever. They now give him a managerial position and he's completely at a loss.
Oh dear. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that disconnect is there? Why do you think so? What do you think?
Well, I think our people focus more on paper qualifications than personal capacity. I think that's at the root of the matter. We glamorize paper chains of degrees, blah 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 blah. But with all those degrees, what has that individual done, even in his field or outside his field or in his society? Okay, you read quantum physics or you read whatever, came back to Nigeria. Okay, what have you been doing in Nigeria? Even in the area of that, your quantum, I don't mean giving pointless seminars and papers. I mean the impact, how impactful have you been to your environment? I think when we start looking at things that way, then we'll start voting, we'll start appointing people out based on capacity and not paper qualifications.
But it's really hard to put the connect together, because we've seen situations where political leaders or political elites, we are stuck between the very highly educated or not very educated, and from the behaviors of these two sectors, I don't see a lot of difference in their decision making. You just mentioned something about infrastructure, right? The country is going through complete breakdown. There's a lot of impoverishment of the people, a lot of hunger in the system, and we're hearing our governors setting monies aside to celebrate Christmas, setting monies aside to build structures that I am sure that the people in their constituents cannot afford to use.
Because some of them know that your votes, the kind of electoral system we do, your votes, it's not really your votes that brought them there. Some of them, they're hearts of hearts. That they manipulated their way to where they are. So the people can go to hell. They do what they as long as the people that made them hold that position are okay, they are okay. So the policies are not really people oriented. They look at the way they put taxes. It's arbitrary. You make somebody chairman of, let's say, a task force on environmental water, and the levies and whatever will be at variance with the minimum wage. Huh? Let me be a bit controversial. Let's say the fines for road offenses. You have
Okay.
almighty MOT, you see, in the whatever. There's a template in Sena climbs they use in determining the penalties for. They ask you, what's the minimum wage? What's it? You say, they tell them, they clamp your vehicle, they're 50,000, 35,000, whatever. Meanwhile, how much are you paying a director? How much are you paying a level 12? So you're assuming that those people should not drive cars. You that you're putting that fine, can you pay it? Fines, yes, fines are supposed to be punitive, but it's something that the individual can still afford to pay. You don't put outrageous, even the outrageous fines and rates on people, and it's still part of that, the way, part of symptomatic of how some people entered into government. If your being in government is really dependent on people's votes, you have the people at your mind. But when you know that you rigged your way into the position, your only interest is make sure that your godfather is okay.
Oh dear.
Make sure the security people are okay,
That's
and make
right.
sure the quote unquote stakeholders are taken care of.
The way we love that particular line around here, the stakeholders, they make everything happen. These stakeholders, they do make everything happen. And I think Charles is trying to call back because I think he has a response for you and Mr. K. And of course, if you hurry up, Charles, I would like to hear what you have to say before we, before I take it completely back to the dock. And of course, we will have to leave soon. But yes, I would like to hear what you have to say. Welcome back. Good morning.
Good morning. You know where we are today?
You have done exactly that.
We defend all manner of nonsense. You know that Emmanuel Macron has been slapped 2 times as French president, and he didn't respond. Do you know why?
Why?
Because of who he is. He did not respond. He has been slapped twice as president of France. If you are in the eyes of the public, you carry yourself in a certain way. Somebody called and was defending why Bianca slapped somebody in public. And unfortunately, Doc is even defending her too. In the United States, if you try it, your political career is over. You can't even date in UK. So we are where we are today because we defend any kind of thing we see. And we can't move forward. And I said, we politics everything in Nigeria. Everything is politics. And that is why people like Tinubu are using us and dribbling us. In 2027, as you know, I could answer that 2027, people will have criticizing Tinubu today. We still go and vote for him. So until we stand up, begin to look at people like Nelson Mandela, begin to look at people. You see, when Donald Trump was president of United States, he was hiring and firing, and everybody was looking at him. You know, like still like the American Secretary of State. He came back to Africa. I don't know what he didn't represent very well. By the time he came back to the United States, they sacked him and replaced him with Mike Pompeo. If you remember, we are still like him was the Secretary of State then. If when our first minister is not something you toy with, don't play politics with it. But they are playing politics virtually everything. Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Charles, for calling. And of course, you heard him. Certain members of society, are they supposed to have certain reactions in public? Go.
You comport yourself in public, yes, I agree, but at the back of it, we're all human beings.
At the back of it, we're all human beings. All right,
And
thank you.
Even him that is talking, there's a limit he can take certain provocations in public. We're all human.
Considering his high office as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Trudy Emelu. He is a public affairs analyst and a very big friend of Vote 104.3 FM. Doc, a lot of people are not, mentally okay with all of these things that we talk about every other day.
Yeah.
The news is, you are a medical professional, a highly respected one at that. Any advice for the general public before we go?
There's a lot of stress. You can't. There will always be stress. So don't overdo yourself. I mean, the economy is hitting on everybody, both the big, the small, and the almighty. And there are people that handle stress differently. You see them calm, and people. People will be meeting. Someone has a big financial uh, difficulty and is taking it to equanimity, is calm about it.
I know that's one of the habits I want to.
And you see people better off than him coming to ask him for money. I've seen situations like that. It's not as if he has the money. He's just living his life, living by the day, and believes that maybe tomorrow will get better. Then, so I mean, a bit, we should be a bit more spiritual, if you put
Spiritual.
it that. Yeah, a bit more spiritual and detach ourselves from undue material. There's so much materialism everywhere, even in our religious homes and churches and whatever. Everything's towards money, 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 money. There should be more kindness. If we are more kind, the irony of it all is even the less religious country. If you go to the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, and where the churches are sparsely, you still feel that milk of human kindness.
I would like to know why that.
That viral video of that tattooed lady that took care of that child. That
yes.
orphan from
Yes.
Is it Calabar or whatever?
And the child is all big now.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't the typical bless you, kind of Christian or whatever. She was just a normal human being. We start seeing ourselves as normal human beings. We are so religious, but yet godless. That's why it's it.
Well, on that note, you heard it from the doctor himself, and this is where I would leave you. We will continue this next week. Remember that this program comes to you every weekday, Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. till 10. We'll do it again, and just like the doc told you, you must show a little bit of kindness, first to yourself and to the people around you. All right? Take care and have a good day. Good morning.